Hello, world. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. It has been a long minute, and I know I am about 5 minutes late, but technical issues, they happen to me all the time because that's just the way of life, right? So anyway, welcome to the Project PHInc, a new way to think, a new perspective about mental health, emotional health, physical health, and health in general. My name is Adela Hittel, and I'm your host, and I am also the founder of Project PHInc, and I am really, really excited to be here. I'm really proud of myself because this whole setup has taken a second to figure out, learn, and I don't mean just a second, I mean a long second. And right before this, just so you guys know, everything shut down like 5 times. Just one of those, no matter how many times I've tested over the last week, it just shut it all down. So persevere. That's the lesson of today. Anyway, welcome to the monthly continued conversations about health, as I like to call them. We like to call them here at PHInc MCCs because I like abbreviations for everything. So welcome. I'm really, really excited to be here with you guys. This is my first YouTube live that I am doing, and not just where I have a lot more control over my back end pre-recorded stuff. So we are just live going with it, and I'm really, really excited. I wanted to update everybody about what has been going on with Project PHInc, what has been going on with me, and to provide you with some new information that I have gathered over these last couple of months, and just to kind of give you an insight as to where we're going and what we're going to be doing. So without further ado, I'm really, really excited about that. For those of you who are interested, part of this live session that we do a Zoom call portion. And if you're interested in joining the Zoom call portion, where it will be a Q&A type of process and a more personal conversation between humans about their state of being in existence, and to share their stories, have their voices heard, and maybe gather some insight from those around them that may or may not have thought of before. Again, we're always looking for a new perspective, a new way to see the world, a new way to see a situation, and definitely a new way to see yourself. So welcome. I'm really, really excited. Oh, I am out of breath already, and I have been practicing and preparing for all of this for a while now. So bear with me if I talk too fast or move a little too fast at times too. That's just part of my energy and part of my spiel and my speed. So what I want to do first of all is, before I get into the business and into my story of why it's taken me a moment to get to here, I want to open up this conversation with a quote, and it's from a book called Insight into Elderian Art Therapy through the lens of, through the lens of individual psychology. So here's the book. I read a lot. I actually have a link that I will be sharing really soon with you all, and it's available on our YouTube channel right now. For those of you who are subscribers, you can take a look at it, but it's called Books for Change, and it's free audiobooks and free content just like this that you can take time to listen to and educate yourself, inform yourself, and begin to advocate for yourself and others in ways that you might not have known how to or had the information before to do so. So here's the quote, and I think it's really fitting to how I started the journey to where I'm going and where I am kind of right now. It says, "I began to trust the healing dimensions of the creative process, to take life on life's terms, to learn that opportunity springs from obstacles, that disappointment can lead to awakening, that it's okay, even necessary, to let go, change directions, to have the courage to be imperfect. The art process and product make it possible to see, to experience, and to remember these life lessons." Just everything in there. That opportunity springs from obstacles. Disappointment leads to awakening. It's okay to let go and be imperfect. That last part, me right here. It was extremely difficult for me to take the time to see myself the way I am, because I have an extremely skewed perception of myself. The way I see myself versus the way the world sees me and the way I present myself are all different. My perception is something I'm working on very, very hard still to this day, to see myself as a human that I am, which is why I work really hard to tell you guys to see yourself as that, because I know the depths of despair one feels when they can't look in the mirror, they can't see themselves, they can't recognize their own being and their own existence, and yet we're expected, and I really don't like that word, so it's eliminated from my narrative, but we are expected in this world to come on out and feel as if we can be something that we don't know what we are. We don't know what we are, so how can we be something that we don't know anything about? And that imposter syndrome, that imposter feeling can hit so hard and stay with you forever, because you're just trying to find identities. You're trying to find stories. You're trying to link onto words and onto things that they don't make sense to you, and you don't understand them, but you're expected to. And so even this process, I've been at this process for, 5 years now, just being able to communicate with you, talk to you. And this last year, when I started the Define the Narrative project, the documentary portion of really defining what mental health was, I did not recognize or know until I was done with the filming of that I had no idea what my narrative was. I had a story, and I had plenty of stories to tell. I still have plenty of stories to tell. But my own narrative, I had no idea what words meant. I spoke words. I said words. I advocated words. But I had no idea what words meant. And with not understanding what words meant, no matter what was given to me, I can do the job. I can get the job done. I can look at it. I can kind of figure out what it means and swing by, pass by. However, it was always false. It wasn't who I was. So this last year, I had the opportunity to create quite a bit of content, to look at my life and see what I've done, and to give myself a little bit of credit for the things that I have done. What I didn't give myself credit for was that I was healing through this art so much, and using what I didn't know and just speaking and feeling through art, that I've paved now, again, my narrative. I've painted my canvas. I know what I am, who I am. One of the things that I had a hard time accepting was that I was suffering from a very severe case of complex PTSD. And also bipolar disorder. I was, and still am, in some shape or form, in denial of the stories of my life. And in a lot of ways, it's hard to accept the diagnosis of who you are and what you are, because it goes against what you know you are. And for me, I know I'm capable of controlling my emotions, maintaining my reality. I know I am capable of handling and carrying my baggage. So when I don't and I can't, it's very hard for me to process and comprehend why nothing's wrong. However, that's an inside joke for some of you. However, in November of 2022, I began experiencing pretty severe symptoms physically. I had always had physical symptoms. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, all by the age of 32. And so I had been trying to figure out and struggled with that because medications weren't working. And I knew that those things weren't the medications I was on, the processes that I was being provided were not the right way for me. However, I did what I could until it started to mess with my mind so much that I had no control over it. And I said, if I can't have control over my body, if I can't have control over my emotions, there's one thing I will do my best to control, and that's my mind. Like, I can't lose my mind. And that to me was so important, because that's where my creativeness came from. That's where my zest for life and my imagination and my ability to take an obstacle, turn it into an opportunity, and see a better version of something. And when that was dulled to the point where I couldn't see past the reality of absolute, like, devastation. I can't walk. I can't talk. I can't hold things. I can't carry my son. I can't do anything that is productive to me to push me forward into success or into any way. I can't. I don't have the energy. I don't have the thought. I don't have the will. I don't have it. And then adding the medication, it just masked and dulled it completely. And I just silenced death. So I got off of that and worked really hard over those couple years to figure out forms of therapy, if you will. I try to not use the word therapy in a way, because as you saw the banner, we're not medical professionals, we're peer-to-peers. So for anybody out there, please seek professional help if you need it. But these are personal stories and personal experiences that we get to share and advocate for, because, again, as we've learned, there's a lot of ways that you can be looked at and taken as a joke, as I have been, because I knew my body, I knew what was going on, and I knew there was something deeper. Now, on to their credit and my irresponsibility is that I didn't want to listen to the amount of people that told me that I did have complex PTSD. So when my symptoms became really bad in November of 2022, nosebleeds, and inability to walk, time lapses. I mean, I would forget months of my time. I would forget where I was. I would be driving and end up in a place where I knew, and I'm looking at my GPS, I'm looking at stuff, and I can't recognize, I can't register. And then something that I didn't think I was, or maybe I experienced so much that I just put it in as part of my everyday life and moment. I started really not being able to go outside in 2023 because everywhere I would go, I would see destruction and I would see death. I couldn't go to a playground. I couldn't go to a shopping center. It was just really overwhelming to go out and to know that it's not real what you're seeing and what you're feeling, but for it to feel so real and be real, and to try to regain the control in the time and space and where you're at, and it is extremely difficult. So I sought out therapy. I found the best that I could and out network and paid out of pocket and all of that for them to tell me that there was nothing they could do for me. I'm too self-aware. I'm doing everything I can. But what I did get out of it was that I had a baseline, and my baseline was, well, I might die or death, and everything was based and surrounded with death. Every decision was made as a life or death decision. So in March, April of 2023, after the session, I walked out so defeated because the amount of times since going through the health journey of sleep studies and psychoanalysis and just everything to be told, we put people away like you, Adela. The way you express yourself, that's cause for concern. Or the words you say, Adela, are not crazy, but we try to be sensitive with that subject. But and this whole runaround of putting me and labeling me versus allowing me to express an emotion and see me for who I am in the moment, and allow me to find a new perspective, find a new way, it was all like constant obstacles, constant stops. So when I walked out, I felt so defeated. I mean, it was just so defeating. And I came back, and then the part of where that she said, your baseline is death. Like, you live your life on a literally every single moment of your second of your life is life or death decision, whether that's to make a coffee, whether that's to go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, take my kid to school. It's a life or death decision. And taking that into consideration, I was able to take a breath, as I do now a lot of times, and process when my energy would start getting really tense and my adrenaline would start getting really high. So I started seeing my primary care. We were doing tests, blood work, tests and tests, November, and we're now in June. And we get to the point where we have a conversation, and she's like, Adela, there's nothing wrong with you. Number one, you don't have arthritis. Like, you're as healthy as... I went through bones, x-rays, everything you can think of over this last year to figure out what was wrong with me. Because physically, it was impossible to move. It was impossible to get through the day. It hurt so much. It was just devastating for someone like me who's just constantly on the go. But it was also the thing that was killing me. It was the thing that was killing me the most. So I went in, saw my primary, we figured out that my cortisol levels were just out of control, and figured out that my adrenaline was being produced to the point where it would be produced so fast at such a short time and be able to get me through the moment that I needed to get through, which is when you would see me on projects, or you'd see me out in public, or you'd see me and I'm just, whoa, like hyped. I still have that in me, but learning to control that so it doesn't affect my body to the level of passing out. My muscles would be completely then depleted of anything, and just like it just go into absolute shock. And learning that, and over these last 5 months now, where I have had the ability to control the excitement, which, that's a journey. I tell you that. I promise you that's a journey. But it's a beautiful journey. Controlling the excitement has had the ability to control the anxiety, control my cortisol, my adrenaline, all of the chemicals that were throwing me off. I have learned now how to control them all on my own, all naturally, and it's a lot of work. I promise you, it's a lot of work. And every day is not easy. Every day is a struggle in so many ways. However, every day also does become a lot easier in processing, in understanding, and in ability to achieve the goals that I set forward for myself, or for the nonprofit, or just in general in living. So taking the time, taking this year to pause, and in April 16th this past year, I decided that I was going to take a year and relive my war. And I don't mean relive it in imagery, because I don't know that. I was going to live it in emotion and in body feeling. So when I would get the deepest moments of grief out of nowhere, and these moments of expression that I can't explain, I allowed them to happen. It didn't matter where. It didn't matter how. And they were so quick. They were so quick in happening that after the moment of expression occurred, whether that was the silent cry out in the behind the Publix aisle of the baby aisle, or it was in my car, just the grueling screams and the banging that I needed to do because I needed to get it out. Those few moments, I don't know they weren't mine. I mean, they were mine, but they weren't my narrative, right? They weren't part of my narrative as of today, which is when I would go to therapy and say, I can't connect to the story of what is being told to me that has happened and occurred to me, including my body. Now I'm remembering things and they're not nice, but they still don't seem real to me because the life that I've lived here today now in this experience, the same level of adrenaline that went into surviving my war went into creating the life I have. So for me to differentiate it is like, I don't know that life because the only level of excitement and happiness and joy and pain and exhilarance that I know is this life. But when those same feelings come in and I don't know where they're at in a level of anger, frustration, and panic and absolute terror, I've had to learn that that's the story that has been told my body because these are the things that happen. And now, after that story has been told, I have the ability to process and decipher that moment. So now, instead of separating it, I'm looking at it like, okay, Adela, this happened, this is happening. Why is all of this happening? Assessing myself all the time. And I've gotten so good at it over these last couple of years that it's just making the process so much easier. So I have been working really hard to navigate and understand. I've understood PTSD on a level just like I understand many other things, but I've never understood it to such a personal level where I have to be aware of it and to understand that the complexity that I suffer from. Not everyone does, a lot do, some even worse, and it's so different for every single human. Like every single story is so different. But the process, I think we have something in common. It's a grueling process and it's a lonely process, but it's one worth taking and it's one worth being on a journey with for oneself. So I encourage you to, number one, follow your heart in knowing that there is more to you than what is happening in the moment with your body, with your mind, with your soul. Give yourself the time to pause. This is coming from somebody who genuinely, 2 years ago, you can ask anybody, 2 years ago would be like, there's no crazy way this woman would stop. Like, there's no way this woman would stop. She's on a mission and she is so determined to get to where she's going to go that even if it kills her. And it almost did. And it's like, no, why do I need to live on the baseline of death? And I don't. So learning how not to live on the baseline of death and transitioning from surviving into living has been a journey of all on its own, and a beautiful one because it's made me so accountable and it's made me so responsible for my own being, for my own existence. The pride I have now in what I create, what I cultivate, whom I do it with, how I do it, and for what purpose I do it with now is so much more important because every word I say now is so much more important. I understand the power of my word now, and I don't take it for granted, and I won't speak it so lightly. And everything is just coming together as I have foreseen it for myself deep down within, but I didn't know how to get there. And I'm glad I've taken all the venues that I've taken and done it the Adela way, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't my way. Now, the Adela way is also being refined and reformatted for all the good that it is, and restructured for what the negative might be or what might not be such a great benefit to herself or others. So that's my little story of where I've been, and I hope that you guys again are taking that time, because everything is still here. The thing that might not be here is your life. The thing that might not be here is your breath. And that's the thing that you have to hold on to the most. You're literally the most important part of you is this breath that you have, because it fuels every piece of who you are. And learning how to breathe with yourself, learning how to live with yourself and see yourself for who you are, not what the story has been told, allows you to define a narrative that suits who you are now and where you want to go versus where you've come from. So there's that. Now, I want to take you into what Project Human has been up to. And really what I've been up with Project Human, because I took the time to say I'm going to pause everything. So there's a campaign that's going to be coming out in just a little while called the 365 PSAs. I've mentioned it and I've done it a couple of times over the last year or two, just in the phases of learning what I wanted with it and how I wanted it to really make a change and an impact, and I figured it out. It just finally clicked after I took the pause. So the 365 PSAs is going to be a pause, shift, and act year of reflection and a year of self-identifying ways that you can, again, be better and move forward. So I've spent the year revamping everything with Project Human. Our website has been redone. Our continued conversations have been redone. Our freeform writing and blog has been fully revamped with so much information already on there. And I'm really excited and honored for, and so thankful, by the way, to everyone who has helped me get to where I am today. If it wasn't for everyone who's volunteered their time, their skill, their voice, their ears to hear me out, because boy, have you guys heard some of me, and those of you who've lent literally your bodies into making some of my projects come true, I'm so thankful for you for that, because if it wasn't for you to help me create and repaint my own canvas and repaint the way I view in my perspective, I wouldn't be able to now do it for others. I wouldn't be able to share this journey with others either. So I'm, again, very thankful for you to have been there. And for those who are still there, thank you. I have relaunched the whole committees of all of our programs and services. And we have a new board of directors, which I'm really excited to introduce to you guys in the next couple of weeks and months as they're coming on and onboarding for themselves. And as you guys know, this is all at the comfort level of anybody who wants to be up front or in the back end of what we do. It's really up to everybody. But the bottom line that goes down to with Project Human and who we are and what we're doing is that it's about the human narrative. And we had to redefine that. Because again, I didn't have the narrative defined. I knew with the mission what my end goal was, but to really define it and structure it in a way that it made sense and that it was tangible. I had to think of the word. I don't know where the word went, but that it was tangible, and that it was, and I had to also learn that in this year of pausing, how long something takes to do. I mean, I've done so much in such a short amount of my time. I've traveled, I've helped create businesses, I've helped create and push brands of artists, I've produced events, I've created my own projects, did my own photography, my own designs. Like, the amount of things I've done over these last 5 years is insane. And I haven't given myself credit for that. But all of those things that we've done, they have amazing value in lessons, experiences, and growth. And what they lack is a defined narrative. So I'm really excited that everything forward that we do and the approaches that I take is really structured in that you know what our narrative is. And please get used to the word narrative, because I think it's one of the most important words to understand, to define for your own self, because understanding words, understanding how they form together and structure in your life is so important, so that you can build a story that you want, so that you can build a reality that you want. Because if you don't have the appropriate narrative and understanding of what it means for you, then all we're doing is sharing a story and of others and others' emotions, others' thoughts, and not our own. So I think it's extremely important for you to be able to define that for yourself and know that, again, it's going to lead you to where you want to go. So with that, we have, like I said, we've relaunched our freeform writers program, in which is, I started it 2 years ago, and it was, again, my way of expressing my own experiences, and without words, without judgment. I didn't care about grammar, and believe you me, the amount of people that told me, Adela, your grammar, Adela, your structure, Adela, it's like you're talking to me, but I'm reading you, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care, because it wasn't about the structure. I could care less about the structure. I'm trying to break the social structures. I'm trying to break the confines of everything that society has built upon us and said that this is the way we're going to be. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to form our narratives or our stories. And I'm like, no, it doesn't fit with who I am. I have requirements. I don't have expectations. Once I learned the difference between expectations and requirements, it made it so easy for me to achieve. Because requirements are the unseeable, the invisible things that you push you and make and continue. Oh, keep eating this up. That push you for you to continue going, like discipline, commitment, morals, values, your belief, your faith, your soul. Like, what is it that is not tangible, that no matter what, you will not falter on, right? That's just the requirement of your existence. That's the requirement of your project. That's the requirement of your social group, of your social construct, of your relationship. And learning those requirements, we had to learn that as well at Project Human. What were our requirements? Transparency, honesty, accountability, responsibility, consequence too, good or bad. It's a requirement. And understanding the word consequence allows us to move forward again in the direction we want, because we know there's a result. We know there's a result. And no matter what action we take, no matter what decision we make, the results are going to happen. A consequence is going to happen. So we took the time to define our narrative, define our mission, and now we can write structured blog posts. Now I can put on, just like I did these last couple ones, and really have a defined narrative of what I'm trying to say, where I'm going with, what I'm going with, and to inform you and advocate for the things that matter to me the most. I want us to be an educational resource for you. I want us to be a place where you can come and learn something for yourself, whether that's through our conversation or through our blogs or through the videos or our projects or in any other shape or form that we may impact you. The idea is that every conversation, every moment of something is a precious moment that should not be wasted, including your breath, including your word. And if you're going to listen and if we're going to speak, let it be valuable. And if you don't find value, move on to something that is more valuable. Just find value. So find information that gives you that. And we hope that we're that for you. So if we are, please subscribe right here, because I'd love to get our subscribers up so we can provide more education to others and be able to advocate for bigger things as we move forward. So that's what we did with that. And then the other thing I did was to take on and become more involved on the back end of other organizations. And one of the ones I'm involved with right now is NAMI's organization with their advocacy groups. And the one that I'm a board member of and a community member of for 988 and 211 is called the Northeast Florida Mental Health Advocacy Group. It's a very long abbreviation and I had to remember it. And we meet and we discuss legislation regarding mental health. So bills, new form bills, how we can come in as voices, either show our support or give reasons why we don't support that bill. So I'm really excited to be able to now start bridging that gap as we move forward. And I'm really still in the learning stages of everything. And as I get more comfortable and more acquainted with how our system works here in the Florida portion of legislation in our bills, I'll be able to provide you with more information. I went to the Mental Health, Wellness, and Healing Day in November with NAMI to learn and meet with our representatives and our Senate members and to advocate for 988, which is the new suicide and prevention hotline, lifeline. So you can literally just dial 988 if you need assistance right away. And that bill includes support for structures and for more mental health professionals to be able to come in and help in different areas, and especially in more of our underserving areas. So as we move forward, again, I'll have more information. But with that, I do have a blog on our website that gives a very good explanation of what 988, 211, and 911 services are. And as you guys know, 988 is the Suicide and Mental Health Crisis Care line. It's the new number for the National Suicide Prevention line. And that was changed in July of 2022, I believe. 2022. And it just made it so much easier for people to be able to reach help a lot easier. And then into the extension of that, there is a 211 number that is a suicide and mental health crisis care with an emphasis on local community resources and care coordination. So the 211 service, the way it's different from the 988 service, the 911 service is the 211 will allow you to call and ask for immediate help with, they may be able to, not maybe, they will have on hand and resources for whether that's answering questions or providing you with where to go, or immediate resources for housing, healthcare, what else was it, social services, employment, healthcare counseling. So 211 is part of United Way. Also here in Florida there's a United Way 211. And again, I'm still learning a lot more about the information, but on our website, I do have a blog about it with links to both the organizations and both the resources for you to be able to research more for yourself and see if you need any help and assistance with that. So as you guys are trying to find links and find ways, we hope that we will be able to provide you with some of these resources. And so I'm on the 988 committee, and and we're here with Project Human are going to add the 211 resource into that because we want to really bring awareness to that program and because legislation is passing bills to bring more funding to these services. And if we can bring more funding to these services, we're able to provide humans with more help. And really the bottom line is the reason why we don't have a lot of help, we don't have a lot of the services is because funding. And a lot of these organizations are nonprofits or service organizations that are doing what they can with the funding that they have. So keep that in mind as you are going through and receiving some of the resources from these programs that, they are working really hard just as well to expand in the operational side and the funding side so that they can provide you with more services. But they are there for you, and a lot of them have had the opportunity to help a lot of humans, and I've heard plenty of stories for that. And so I hope you do reach out, see that. With that said as well, there is a survey that we are doing. We are collecting, Project Human is doing for the next couple of months. We're going to be collecting a lot of information and a lot of surveys about 988 and 211 and other health related topics. But this is a primary one. So if you have the time and you can take the time for a minute, go onto our website and click on the link. And I think I'll have the link up there too. Bear with me under the YouTube comments and all of that, but there'll be a link there. There'll be a survey, and it's just a quick 3-4 question survey that says how aware are you of our 988 services, how aware are you of the 211 services, have you ever contacted one or used those services before, and that way we can really work on bridging the gap of where those services are not available. Because one of the things I'm learning from being in these other groups and in the groups for the boards is we don't have enough data to see where these resources are being distributed, who's receiving them, who has not received them, or who's using them, or who's not. A lot of people have not even heard of it. And that's one of our missions, is to be able to educate people on the resources that are available for them. So if you don't know, now you do, and we hope that you will find some help with that. So there is that. Man, this will be our Q&A portion for our Zoom section, and I would put you onto our Zoom call if we had anybody on our Zoom call. But because it is our first one, I totally understand and get it, and I haven't really done a very good job in promoting all of this or doing anything to be like, hey guys, get on, and that's okay. It isn't about me. It isn't about anything else other than it's about sharing information, advocating for the human being and for the self, and informing humans that you are capable, you are powerful, and there are resources, there are people who care, and we are just one of those. And we want to become the bigger platform for you as a resource for mental health resources. And again, not in a way that we are professionals or we are going to provide you with any kind of cure or any kind of answer. What we will do is provide you, again, with resources and information where you get to make the best decision for yourself. You get to advocate for yourself in the way that's best suited for you. And if nothing else, you get encouraged to take a chance on yourself. So with all of that, let's announce our next month agenda. Next month, we're going to actually be doing our very first in-person continued conversation. And then in March, we'll be back with our Zoom live one again. And I'll probably be on once or twice in between there live just because I'm getting more comfortable and I am finding ways to utilize my time and be very informative if I can be for you and myself with what I'm doing. And so we are going to be talking about coping strategies and resilience on our next monthly continued conversation in February. And that'll be Zoom for our community. So if you're interested in coming out, we will be announcing the location where we will be in just probably like a week or two. And that will be February 24th, 2024. It's a Saturday. It is going to be a 10 a.m. We're going to do them early because one of the things that I do believe in is accomplishing the tasks that you set forth, and these are mine. And you coming out is also a commitment to yourself, that you're willing to come out and learn and educate yourself on and find the information or communicate or just connect with community. And I want to encourage you to do that. I want to encourage you to commit to yourself. And again, not just by coming out into our events or supporting us or listening to us or watching what we're doing, but anything that you do. Your word is literally the most important thing you can have. Your word means so much. The words we speak as a society are just a bunch of garbage words that we speak. We do not understand the meaning of the word. So I encourage you to learn and define what your word is so that you can make the best decisions for you and yourself and your family and your reality and everything you want in life. But it really does require you being accountable, responsible for the words that you think, you feel, and you say, because those words will lead you into action or inaction in which you will have a good or bad consequence. And I really, really encourage you on having the best you can potentially have and being the best human you can possibly be, no matter how long it takes. I promise you, I have been on this journey for 10 years, and today, or even just tomorrow probably, is when I'll feel like, man, this is it. This is it. And every day should be a moment for you like that. Every day should be a this is it moment. I got it. This is it. I'm better today. And if it's not, work your way towards that. All right. I love you guys so much. I'm so thankful for your support. And I am so honored, again, to be here, to use my voice now for something so much bigger and powerful. Please follow us. Please subscribe. I don't all the stuff, how it works. You do. I'm working on the tech side of life. But subscribe. Follow, share, all those good things, because I really do want to be one of your key resources and a platform where you come and you get to, as I said in the beginning, feel encouraged, feel inspired, feel motivated to find a way to make your life the way you want it to. And I say the word motivated in the most loose terms ever, because motivation is a whole bunch of crap. However, there's energy that you can use that word and transfer it and associate it with. So when you kick that word motivated, it kicks your energy up and you get to move yourself into a firm action. So it's all about all those little connections. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. I love you. I encourage you to be kind. I encourage you to recognize that you have an opportunity to change a life, inspire a life, and save a life with every conversation you have. Every word matters. Be kind, be gentle, be loving, be accountable, be responsible, be structured, be all of it. And most importantly, be you. Until next time.